Is this thing on?
I'm sure I plugged it in. Is that plugged in over there?
Andy, is this thing on?
Checking. 1, 2.
Is this thing on?
Check. I have phantom power.
Andy, can you turn my mic down a little bit? I feel like I'm so loud. That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm glad we have that recorded. Can you turn my mic
I
down?
know, right?
That's the first time I've ever heard that.
More verb, please. Welcome to Chicks with Gear, the podcast, where 3 lifelong friends get together to drink some coffee, play some music, talk about gear, and our quest for the most perfect acoustic sound on stage. I'm Deb.
I'm Julie.
I'm Andy.
Who's not a chick. No, he's not. He's our resident gearhead, the fabulous Andy Mose. Woohoo! Andy.
Julie, Debbie, I am super excited to announce that we have the fabulous Alison Prestwood in the house with us.
Yes, we
here.
do.
Woo! Welcome, Allison.
Thank you.
We are so excited to have you here today and
Hi.
to meet you.
I'm very excited to meet you guys. We've already had a good time there getting ready for this. So
We've
I
had
feel
our
like
coffee.
we are lifelong friends already. Huh?
That's right.
Well, we are so glad you're here, and you have had an amazing career, and we would love to hear all about it.
Okay.
So
It's going to take a while.
Start from the beginning. I know one thing about you. I know that your mom was a piano teacher and taught you music, and your sister.
Yes.
I do know that.
In fact, when one of the best things she ever did, I will say too that although she was a piano teacher, I was not a very good piano student because I wanted to play guitar all the time. But one of the main things that she did for us, which I'm so grateful, is when we were very little, about the same time we were learning letters and words, she had these cards, and on the front would be like treble clef.
Oh.
She also had a bass clef one, and it had a big plastic note up front with a string attached to it, and she could from the back, by pulling up or down on the string, raise the note on the staff, and she would ask us what the notes were. And so I have never in my life not known how to read music that I can ever remember.
Wow, that's fabulous.
Yes, and it was from the very beginning, it was just never something I ever had to think about.
That's incredible.
Yes.
You know, you just said think about. I'm thinking maybe we do some Magic Mind.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
What do you think?
I think let's do it.
Let's do it.
So, Allison, we love to do Magic Mind at the beginning of the
Come on,
show.
let's shake
As
it.
we've gotten a little older, sometimes it's hard for us to focus.
Hey, speak for yourself.
Little brain fog I got going on.
Okay, now.
Is this going to help with reading music? Because that never came easy to me.
No, I wish I had that. So I have 3 kids, and I have like forced music on them, and sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't.
So we just shoot this?
Yes.
Shoot it? Okay, like the whole thing?
Yes.
Well, it's up to you.
If you
Okay.
don't like it, it's okay.
Okay.
It's
All
still
right,
great.
here we
Cheers,
go.
y'all.
It's yours. Let the
Good. I
flow
like
state
it.
begin. I like it too.
But I like it too.
Okay, now we'll see what
Now
happens.
we're magical and focused. All right.
I'm slow.
So did all your siblings play music like you?
Well, my sister Ann, who's 3 years older, she could play piano pretty well because she would, she was focused on that rather than on guitar. So she can still sit down at the piano and play hymns,
Oh,
read
wow.
the hymns and stuff like that. The rest of of my siblings, not so much. I was the only one.
It's stuck now. Are you the eldest, youngest, middle?
I am the second oldest.
Of how many?
5.
Oh, wow.
I have some. My father remarried, so I have stepsister, stepbrother, and half brother.
Oh, that's awesome.
And anyway, we all get along great.
Oh, love that.
So yes, that's a good thing. And there are music fans, and my brother-in-law, one of my brothers-in-law, does play music.
Oh,
But
wow.
so we play together every holiday.
That is
I love
awesome.
that.
It's good.
That is really good.
which we used to do with my dad back in the day. Okay, we talked a little bit about my mother. My dad was an attorney, and he loved country music. And when I was 13 or 14, he wanted me to teach him some guitar chords. And so from that point forward until he passed away in 2005, we would play. And he couldn't really sing, and he couldn't really play. But he had the most chutzpah.
Really? I love that.
Like, at a party, he could play, and he would just draw everybody in because of his enthusiasm. And yeah,
He's an entertainer.
So I like to think I got some of the talent from my mother and some of the entertainment aspect from my father.
Wow. And bravery.
Bravery, yes.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of courage to be a musician full time.
It does, but I would also say that, and you guys know this, when you have it in your blood, you almost can't not do it.
This is true. It's really hard.
It's really hard to not do it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So then what made the transition for you? You're learning as a kid. When did it turn into a passion where I know this is what I want to do? Or was it different than that?
Well, it sort of happened despite the fact that I thought I probably wouldn't be doing it.
Oh, interesting.
Because, I thought I'd probably go to, become, I think initially, in fact, I went to college and studied accounting.
Oh.
So, which is not me. It's not me, but I was thinking that's just what you do,
Yes. Oh, I know.
But I got in my first band when I was 15. And I've been in bands really ever since. And it's funny, too. Some of the guys in that very first band are still my closest friends.
No way.
I don't know if y'all have experienced this, but people you came up with, they understand you in a lot of ways that later people don't.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
in fact, I was texting one of them just a minute ago
Oh,
before we
really?
started.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Are they in Alabama still, or are they?
No. Let's see. No, he's in Vermont.
Oh.
Another's in North Georgia. Another's in L.A.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. That is so cool. So you were in a band at 15. Then what happened?
Then I was in a band at 16. And 17 and 18.
See you later, guys.
Well, there were several high school bands. And
cool.
then I went to the University of Alabama and got in a band. And we were called Moon Pie.
Oh, that's a good name.
It was a good name. We used to play fraternity parties.
Oh.
And on the breaks, we'd throw out moon pies. But it was good, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. And then, so 3 years of college in the business school, the end of my junior year, because I'd been playing music in the jazz ensemble and everything at Alabama, end of my junior year, I announced to my family that I'm going to switch to music.
Wait, what?
Yeah. And my father was not crazy about it, but my stepmother, bless her heart, and I know that that's a funny way to say it. I mean, bless her heart, really bless her heart.
Bless her heart.
For real, because she told him, well, if she loves it that much, she'll be okay. And so I stayed and got my music degree for 2 more years.
Wow.
Oh, wow, that's fabulous.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So when did law come into that? I had to ask.
Well, at age 48, I went to law school.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes, it was, it's funny. I still look back on that. I kind of know why I did it. But in other ways, I think, wow, what a strange thing to do. But
It's very good to know the law, especially when we get older. It's good to know. No, that ain't true.
well, true, yes. I did learn a lot, and I practiced law for, it was really 10 years.
Wow. What kind of law?
Most of it was family law.
Okay.
And then, so I did a lot of divorces, things like that. And I also did a lot of probate work. And the thing that I think my heart was best in tune with was conservatorships or guardianships, like where someone's elderly parent has Alzheimer's and then the family steps in. Because my mother had issues later in life, and so I had been through the real life aspect before I was ever a lawyer.
Yeah.
So that by the time I was a lawyer and doing it, I could pretty much, I could walk in any kind of circumstance and know what was going on. So that was good. And as I look back on it, even though I missed music and eventually music won out again, and I'm glad about that, but I look back on it, and
Yes.
and I did, I did do my best to help
Yeah.
some people, and hopefully I did.
Man, time has flown because I don't know if it's through looking at Facebook or whatever, but I remember seeing something when you had your office was in Franklin, and it seems like not very long ago, but that's several years ago, right?
Well, let's see. I went to law school at age 48, so let's see. I started practicing in 2010, and I was backing out of it by 2018. And then 2023, I retired the license. So it's been kind of recent, although I was already seriously backing out by 2018, so I didn't take anything new.
Right.
Well, that's not true. I took a few wills and things like that. But, my heart was, I remember, so I started practicing in 2010, and it was a good situation. But in 2015, I was already thinking, I really miss playing. And
Yeah.
I was playing in Dylan Altman's blues band every other Thursday. It was a perfect gig, Thursday, 6 to 8. So my chops were still up, and I something in me knew that, despite the fact that being an attorney is probably more lucrative,
Right.
something was drawing me back that soon.
Yeah.
And it just took me 3 years to really make that decision that, you can't do both well. You can
Right.
try, but you can't do both well.
Well, I think I read somewhere like 13,000 records that you've been on.
Well,
or
yeah,
something crazy like that.
Well,
like
13,000 songs, I think. The only reason I know that is because someone at the Musicians Union sent me a spreadsheet, and I said, "You got to be
oh
kidding!"
my gosh.
And it's not just me; it's my peers of the day. When I moved here in '93, so by '95 I was kind of worked in, and my group who was playing during that time, where we were playing all the time, their spreadsheets would be equal to or more than that. But it's incredible to think back on.
Yeah.
There's even the math on that's hard to figure out.
I remember when we were really playing all the time, I figured out that we were probably doing 2,000 songs a year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So
I
would
know.
that be like
That is amazing.
like 10 songs a day, or like what does that look like to
Well,
get there?
Typically it was for demo sessions 5 songs in 3 hours.
Okay.
Wow.
And you're doing 1 or 2 or 3 sessions a day.
That makes sense.
5
then.
days a week.
Okay.
And it adds up pretty
Yeah.
quickly.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
really
I know,
impressive.
it's pretty amazing.
So what made you give it up
Give up music.
to go do the law?
That is something that I wish I knew.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny, I still think about it. I will say the easy answer is that I was kind of burned out from playing 2,000 songs a year.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
And-
and being on the road and touring. I mean, you've toured with everybody.
Well, I've toured a good bit. When I moved here, you sort of had to choose whether you were playing on the road or playing sessions. So most of the years before I went to law school were sessions, or had been most recently sessions. So the way I tell people is I can look back and say I was burned out, but I can also add that I would say that was immaturity.
Oh, interesting.
Because in a way, I had it in the palm of my hand.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it and you don't have perspective, you don't see it sometimes.
I see. Yeah.
So
okay.
but I will say on the other, see, the story continues, the why of that. Because then when I decided to stop doing law and play music again, I was like, and still am, like a little kid
Yeah.
with a bunch of toys again. The feeling I had lost is back. So in a way, maybe that's what it was all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump in here. Just going to move around a little bit here because
Okay.
as a little kid, not a little kid, high school, I loved Humble Pie. Man, we played Humble Pie in the garage band, and you happened to be on the road with Peter Frampton.
I am.
And so I know I jumped right to that, but
Yeah.
that's amazing.
It is amazing, and I played 4-Day Creep in early bands too.
Yes, yes.
And so now I'm playing it with him in the encore.
Excellent.
That is cool.
Crazy.
And he's letting me sing the second verse, the lead on the second
Oh,
verse.
well
I
done.
know. I can't believe I get to do that. I get to be such a rock chick.
I know. Come on, we need applause there.
I love that. So, how did that happen? Like, how did you end up playing with him?
Well, his previous bass player, who's a great bass player, Steve Mackey, his session career is heating up, and and it's hard to be on the road and
Do that.
and get that going. So, and he's a good friend of mine, and anyway, so he decided to stay in town and play sessions, and he's doing really well. And I think Peter Frampton called Glenn Worf, who is one of my bass heroes and always has been in town. And Glenn wasn't able to do it, but Glenn suggested me. And really,
Hey, Glenn.
I know.
thank you, Glenn. Yeah, what a jewel of a person he is, not just for that, but in general. And so I had played one session with Peter. I can't remember what year, but a few years prior. So he remembered me, and so I went over to his house one day with Rob Arthur, the keyboard player, and they had told me a few songs that we would play, 3, I think. And so we just sat there very casually in his little studio, not little, his nice studio in his home, and just ran those 3 songs. And they asked me if I wanted to play, and I said, "Yeah."
Wow.
That's how that worked. Yeah, so that was
yes.
This is about this. Well, a million years ago, played with somebody where we opened at a benefit for Peter Frampton at the time, and I was just blown away by. There wasn't one missed note. I had never really heard him play live before, and it was every note was like perfect.
Yeah, he's
So,
he
anyway.
considers himself mainly a guitar player. That's
Right.
He's really good at writing and singing, obviously, but guitar is his biggest passion.
And he's just such an icon from the time era we grew up in. Like, so when we saw that you play with him, I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, it just really was, there's just certain people like you remember. And I wasn't somebody who like followed pop music very much as a kid, but I knew who he was. And it was just really exciting. I couldn't wait to talk to you about like what that must be like being on stage with him. What are the fans like?
Well, the fans are very loyal.
Yeah.
And do you feel like I do, that song, which is the end of the main part of the set? He allows them to come rush the stage. And so everybody, they all love that. And I love playing it too. And so we got to play the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction because he was inducted finally this year.
I can't believe it took that long.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's
I thought he already
insane.
was.
It is insane. Now, when I started playing with him, I wasn't aware that he was already.
I
me
know.
too.
I would not have thought
I
that.
was astounded, but we did get to do it in October of 2024. And
Wow.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So-
amazing.
It's pretty incredible that I got to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I just can't even imagine. Now, what is, if you have one, your favorite song you do with him? Like, is there one you're like, I can't wait?
4-Day Creep, because I get to
Yes.
sing the second
Yeah, she gets to sing on it.
I love that song.
Let's go.
Yeah.
the most fun and the most scary moment of the set at
Is
the
it?
same
Oh my gosh.
time.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I really love a lot of his songs.
yeah.
And like you said, we grew up when it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
So it's fun
I
to.
still can't play that lick, and I try it.
Which
it
one?
Still doesn't do a 4-Day Creep.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
the intro. I still have trouble playing it.
Yeah.
It's fun. There are so many good songs that it takes care of itself. Really playing with him, and the band is very. Everybody's cool. The crew is cool. It's a sweet situation.
Now, how old is he?
74, I think.
He does not
Wow.
look in his
He
70s.
looks fabulous.
No, he stays in really good shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got and he's made this public that he has a muscular disease.
I remember reading about
degenerative.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
How's he doing?
It's a slowly moving thing, I
Is
think,
it?
but it affects his ability to walk, and so we all sit down
Oh, wow.
to play, which is okay with me because
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
session player, you sit down. It's all right.
A little easier when your hands are here.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. But people might not know that you're also a songwriter. And we were talking earlier, I didn't get to hear the rest of the story, but the song that you wrote for Michael Rhodes and Beautiful Man is so stunning and beautiful. Would love for you to talk about how that all happened.
Okay. Well, for people who don't know who Michael Rhodes was, Michael Rhodes was a world-class bass player in town. Well, world-class in the world.
Yeah.
And based here in Nashville, and was one of my heroes and mentors. And when I moved to town, he and Glenn Worf and a lot of the guys, I just have to say, I moved here from Atlanta. I'd been playing in bars. I was a zero body, nobody on the scale of Nashville bass players. And
And
so
being
many,
a woman, I mean, not to point
Right.
out the obvious, but there's
That's
not a
true.
whole lot of them.
They're not. But guys like Michael Rhodes and those guys were just so sweet to me over the years. So when Michael passed away in 2023, I was devastated along with, the town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know Rodney Crowell from back in the days when I played with him in 93 or 4. And just over the years, we stayed in touch. But one day, and it really didn't have anything to do with the fact with Michael's having recently passed, or it probably did subconsciously, but I had written some songs, and one day I got brave, and I texted Rodney to see if I could come play him some songs.
Yeah.
And he said, sure. So I went over, and Beautiful Man I had started. I had started the verses. But it wasn't finished, so played Rodney all these songs, and it got his valuable criticism and everything. And then I said, and then I've got this one that I started for Michael, and so I started playing it, and he said, you don't have a chorus. I said, I know, and he said, play it again. And so there was a guitar, an acoustic guitar on the wall that he had hanging up, and he picked it up, and he said, "Play it again." And we were knee to knee, like facing each other.
Oh my gosh!
And so I started playing it, and he started, doing something with the chorus, and I was thinking, Rodney is about to write this song with me.
Oh my gosh!
And I said,
Wow.
I said, you want to write it with me? Yeah. And so we got together, I think, another time and finished it, and. It meant a lot, obviously, to both of us. It was some songs you write and you're just writing a song, but that one was from the heart.
Oh my gosh!
And still means very much to me, and probably to him too. I'm sure it does. So from that point, when it was written, he took over and suggested that we record it, and I thought, sure, that'd be great. I was thinking demo, but it turned out that he got all these great players, friends of Michael, and engineers to meet at Blackbird one morning and just do the song, and it was videoed. I didn't realize, it was Kenny Greenberg, Eddie Bears, Greg Morrow, Chad Cromwell, Catherine Marks, Glenn Worf play in the band.
Yeah.
And so we all get there, and they're donating their time. I didn't know. I thought when I got there, okay, I'll play the acoustic part in a booth, and then later I'll sing it, and because I was going to sing the verses and he was going to sing the choruses. That was not the case, and I didn't know till I got there. He had 3 mics set up. For, Harry Stinson sang background, and we didn't use headphones. We did it live.
So the video is
As live.
Oh my
wondering
gosh.
about that.
It was so moving. Like it was y'all's blend. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful.
God was really helping me
Yes.
out that day, because not only was it emotionally, that was a special. Michael's wife was there, but it being such a vulnerable way to record it.
Yes.
It had to all be, everybody had to do it right. And I think we ran it, and then we ended up doing 2 or 3 takes, no more than 3. And it was over.
Well, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
It is beautiful.
It's haunting.
Thank you. I'm so pleased with that. It's almost like if I never wrote anything else in my life, that's the one.
Yeah.
yeah.
When,
Yeah.
Do you know Michael played with Rodney, correct? Like, because that's the first time that I think I saw Michael Rhodes. Because I was like, who is that playing bass?
I know he's unique looking. Like I would see him around, and you always knew that was him because he didn't look like anybody else.
Yes.
Go ahead. What were you
No,
going to say?
that's it. I was just, I didn't
Yeah, he was a powerful force, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Watching him play was incredible.
Very intense.
Very intense. Very sure of what he was doing. Yeah, what a loss.
I know.
Well, hopefully he is up in heaven playing with every amazing musician ever and showing him his stuff.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah. Me too.
So you are also, you mentioned the Beatles. You are a huge Beatles fan, right?
Huge Beatles fan.
McCartney or Lennon? I know the answer to this, but I'm asking it.
Oh, boy. Well, Paul is the reason I play bass.
Oh,
Yeah.
That
But
might be the reason I carried a tennis racket around pretending it was a guitar, even though he played. But
you did because of Paul?
Yeah, well, the Beatles and Paul is, you got your Lennon camp, you got your McCartney camp. So.
Yeah. I think I straddle them to an extent that you can't. Lennon. Without Lennon,
There's
we
no
wouldn't
Lennon.
have it.
Yeah.
Without each other, they would not have had their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no cake without all the ingredients.
Yes,
And
exactly.
you perform in a band doing Beatles songs, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yes, the band's called
absolutely.
Fab, and we've been together a lot of years.
Is that a local thing you do here?
Yes.
Oh, I'll have to check it out.
We've played at Third and Lindsley a lot.
Oh, okay.
And I love playing Paul's parts. And every time we play, I still listen to the set in the Beatles form, I make a playlist. And there's not been one gig that I've done with them where I didn't learn something new in preparation. There's just little things.
That's so cool.
So good.
Love that.
So good.
Just think about how long their music has been, and people still turn back to it and go, wow, like that little movie they did. What was that movie?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Did you
I
see
loved that
I
movie.
didn't.
Oh my gosh, you got to see it. It's
Yeah.
so good. And just thinking like how long the longevity of the beauty of the music, how it inspires people still, and even just the original music. I mean, it sounds amazing.
Oh, it still sounds good. It was recorded so well, too, for the
Yeah.
day with George Martin and all that. The Beatles, they will forever inspire me.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Well, we love to sing harmony. And so I know that that's where a lot of that stuff
Yeah.
comes from, listening to that. And I try to get my kids to listen to it, because I'm like, you got to sing together.
That and the Eagles. We learned a lot of harmony from the Eagles. And I think I read that you did something with opening for
Well,
Vince
Vince
Gill opened for
Played with Vince.
Yes.
Opening for
Talk
the...
about that. Was that amazing?
Okay. That was so amazing. Because Vince is in the Eagles now. It has
Right.
been for a few years. And Steely Dan was supposed to open a string of dates with them, and Donald Fagen was sick, and so they had to get people to sub. So Vince offered to open for himself, basically, on one gig
That's funny.
in
I
Pittsburgh.
love him.
And so I got called to
He's
do
gonna
it,
have
and just went up there. We didn't rehearse. We just did it, and it was incredible.
Oh, I bet.
For me, it was incredible.
I saw that. I was like, oh my God.
Well, it's sometimes those ones where you're where you're a little nervous about it are the best ones. It was very very cool, super cool.
Now, where was that? Or was it?
Pittsburgh, I think the hockey arena in Pittsburgh. I can't remember what it's named, but yeah.
I love Steady On I wore that record out.
Oh, me too.
I mean, that whole record over and over and over and over and over and over again.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I was a big fan by the time I got her gig.
When was that you were playing with her?
It was 1997.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a Michael Rhodes recommendation.
Really?
He played on not Steady On, but few small repairs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And she, at the time, her single had not hit yet, so
Oh.
she wasn't, how do you say that? Well, she wasn't paying as much yet because she hadn't had a hit single.
Yeah.
And so Michael was busy in town playing on sessions and all. So it was perfect timing for me because I'd been here, I think that was my 4th year here, and things were going well, but, I could still go out on the road. And I was a big fan of hers already. So he gave her my name, and I flew to Austin and auditioned and got it. And the first gig with her was The Tonight Show. And I had not. Wow.
Had you done that before?
No. Wait, I had done it with Rodney. That's true, I had done it. But I hadn't played with her yet, and we hadn't really rehearsed yet. So
live TV.
we were just. I remember too. I was thinking, am I supposed to sing background vocals too? And I was nervous on the flight out because I had the bass part, but oh boy, if I have to sing, and play something I've never done, it could be rough. And I walked onto the stage that day, just the sound check. And there was this woman with a newspaper sitting on the front row, and turned out it was Kate Markowitz who sings with James Taylor. Oh, and so I'm like, yes,
oh my gosh,
hallelujah.
Oh my God.
Kate and I became really great friends and still are. But
wow.
Meeting her, I've never been so happy to see somebody in my whole life.
And then I think that's an interesting thing for people who are listening or watching this to know, if they're not musicians, is that you see these people like on the Tonight Show, whatever, that sometimes it's just put together real quick, and that the reason that you do get hired is because you can handle that. Like, you've got enough experience to get out there, and it's kind of all the work you did before from the time you're little to kind of get out there. But sometimes you're handed something, you're like, oh, I got to wing this, and then you pull it off.
Right. Well, I admire her for believing in me that much. But yes, it's risky, and we've all done it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, you either live or die.
Oh, yeah.
Keep going. The show must go on.
That's right.
The show must go on.
I like this, what's it called? Magic Mind.
Mind. Are you
It's
feeling
good.
your flow state?
I think I'm feeling pretty good.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I really am a believer in this stuff.
I was feeling good when I got here, but I think I'm feeling even better.
She's feeling even better. And actually, it says part of their little marketing campaign is like a feeling of elevated. You get a little elevated feeling.
Nice. Is there a limit to how many you can have in a day?
According to them, no. But I've had 2 a day, and I'm totally fine. And what they say is the more you use it, of course, because it's a subscription, but there is something to using it every day. Like, it gets into your system. And I have to say, it has definitely made me more calm. Because we are of Irish descent and French. So I used to have a pretty long
This is more
fuse.
calm.
I know. I was going to say, what? She's telling a story.
Okay.
No, it's true. I am definitely more calm.
I am now.
Yeah, no, I am. It doesn't mean I'm like the calmest
No.
person, but
No.
relatively speaking, much more calmer. But I'm a big fan of like the little packaging of it. And the gentleman who started this, like, I love his journey because they told him if he keeps drinking coffee, he was going to die. Oh. And so he did a 10-year study of coffee, wrote a book, and then did this. And then apparently, like, everyone in Silicon Valley was drinking this to stay focused.
I can see.
Yeah.
I see it. It's
cool.
It's tasty, too.
It is tasty.
Mm-hmm.
It's magic. And, it's not messy. You can just drink it. Some of the powder stuff becomes obnoxious.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All the exciting things that you've done kind of made me think about what kind of gear you have.
Okay.
So should we?
Yes.
All right.
Let's talk gear.
Okay. Okay.
Ooh. And it's blue.
It is blue.
It is so cool looking.
Thank you.
Very
What is
retro.
it?
Let me show y'all so you can see it, and then I'll show it so that everybody else can see it. So, yes, it's called a Motown preamp. I guess MTP 66. I just call it a Motown preamp. See all the nice tubes?
I know,
got
I
tubes.
see that.
It's
Yeah.
retro.
See, it's got the tubes. It's got the
Oh,
really
wow.
cool V meter.
Yeah.
Chicks with gear.
Oh, yeah, man.
Very
Yeah.
basic, not too heavy. So the story with this is at Motown, James Jamerson was the bass player, and he and the guitar players would plug into the wall into preamps.
Oh.
And a guy in Detroit knew the guy who invented the original plug-into-the-wall preamps. And apparently the guy who had invented it was kind of a curmudgeon. And but this guy who made these preamps talked to him and got the exact schematic for what was in the wall at Motown. And started building them, and he asked the guy who was the original creator of it if he wanted to be involved in the company, and the guy was like, "Nah, no." Really? So anyway, yes, but then, and I can't think of his name, but anyway, the man who made this, who has the company, so Acme is the company, ACME.
Oh.
Yeah, Acme.
Wile E.
Audio.
Coyote.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, when a bass player uses this, you're playing through the same circuitry that James Jamerson did.
I love that.
So it's
That
nice
is
and
so
warm.
cool.
And I use it, I guess I've had it a couple years. It's a little pricey,
Yes.
but I've never played anywhere where an engineer, whether it's live or in the studio, didn't love it.
Really?
They all love it.
yeah.
Nobody has ever preferred their own gear to this.
Ah.
So, and I actually found out about it from Dan Frizzell, who's an engineer here in town. So, I suppose probably several people have it. I don't really know.
I've never seen
I
it
haven't
with
either.
any
It's
other of our
cool.
people.
It's really cool. I love it, and I had the very nice case made for it because I do take it on the road with Peter Frampton.
Yeah.
And it's only got the two knobs too. Don't you love
Oh,
that?
yeah.
It's got two switches and two knobs.
and I like the toggle things.
Yes, me too.
Reminds me of something military-esque almost. You know?
Totally.
Like a radio operator.
I love that kind of look. So
I do too.
yeah, up is mic, so you can sync through it too, which is
Oh.
nice. And down is instrument. So there you go.
I like
there is
it.
my contribution to Chicks with Gear.
We love it.
Oh, we need applause.
So,
Yes.
Alison, you're on the road, but you have also played, tons and tons of sessions and still doing that. Let's say, what goes with you if it's non-cartage in your vehicle to a session? What do you take?
Oh, that's a good question.
Good question.
This,
Yeah.
in its case, this, for those who are not looking, I'm talking about the preamp.
Excellent.
The preamp, usually at 4 or 5 basses.
Right. What's your go-to bass?
Yeah.
If nobody tells you what they want to, if they don't have a preference, particularly.
Well, when I'm first in the studio and I get a sound, I usually get it with a precision bass,
Right.
the vintage one with round wound strings on it.
Mm-hmm.
So
what year is that? As long as
I've
you're
got a 59 refin.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got, a 70 one that's real sweet.
Excellent.
Yeah. And and I've got other P basses with P basses, precision bass, Fender Precision. I've got other P basses with flat wounds and all that. So usually in the car will
Yes.
be a precision bass with flats, a precision with rounds, my Gill Starfire, which is a red hollow body, which
Ooh, I see
probably
a picture of that.
yes. If I were to have to go to a desert island and only have I don't
That
know
would
how to
be
get
it.
an amplifier, but assuming they had an amplifier on a desert island, I would take the Gill Starfire just because it's, I don't know, for some reason it resonates with me and was a big factor in my getting studio work.
Oh, so
there's
you've
a
had
big-
it a long time then.
Yes, I got it in probably 96.
Wow.
wow.
I was in New York playing with the Dead Reckoners, which was such a great band.
Wowza.
And I walked into Manny's and I just saw this hollow body bass and I played it. And sometimes maybe you guys have felt this with instruments where you play it and the thing just all of a sudden you kind of vibrates. with it.
Yes.
Yes.
And this did that. And so I think it was only $650.
Wow.
And I bought it and started playing it all the time, which brings up another little subject as far as studio work goes, if I can.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Absolutely.
Okay. When someone moves to Nashville, there are so many great players. And my tendency, not only my tendency, but what I did when I moved here, and rightly so to an extent, but I listened to records that Michael Rhodes, Glenn Worf, Willie Weeks, so many people played on because I wanted to learn how it's done here.
Yeah.
But the danger sometimes in that is if you try to be someone else, it's not going to work for you in the long run. Because why would they call me trying to play like Michael Rhodes if Michael Rhodes is
still
here?
Yeah.
Right. So one of the lessons that I learned after a few years, and that Gil Starfire had a lot to do with it, because I came back to town and I was already playing sessions, but I was, mid-level. But I started introducing the Gil bass into what I was doing, and my work started increasing. And then I realized, okay, I finally got a sound of my own.
You got your own sound.
Yeah. And that's a lesson that I kind of enjoy mentoring if anybody asks me.
Oh,
so
yeah.
somebody coming to town, I might give them that little bit of wisdom, learn the hard way, right?
Yeah.
But it is really true. You have to be yourself. You still got to learn your acts. I never used the word acts, but I just did. So I'm sticking with
Very
it.
cool.
It's like using the word sus these days. I always feel a little old when I say it. Oh, it's sus.
That's good. So, so that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. Now, in that music video I saw, The Beautiful Man, you have this beautiful guitar,
Yes.
but I couldn't see what the actual in the headstock. What is that guitar?
It's a Martin Quadruple O 28.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I have it. It's
Oh, you
here.
brought
I
it?
brought it, yeah.
Oh.
Maybe we can convince you to play something.
I will play one.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
So stay tuned.
Yeah, it's a really sweet guitar.
Oh, how long have you had that?
Probably 10 years.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Yeah, probably 10 years. I got it at Gruen.
Oh, great.
And that was right about the time I was starting to write songs more. And I needed something. It's funny, when I was before I was a lawyer, I didn't really sing. I was just playing bass. And when I became a lawyer, a couple years into that, they knew I was a musician, but they hadn't really locked into it.
Yeah.
As a bass player. It was too much. That's too much detail. But a woman who was basically a judge in Williamson County was in charge of a Christmas party. Bar Association Christmas party, and she called to see if I would play for the party.
Oh.
I didn't have a band. I didn't sing yet even. But I said yes because it was kind of new and I was wanting to network, right?
Get back in.
What better way to do that?
Yes.
So Renee Grant Williams was a vocal coach here at the time. So I just went to her and I said, I've got 6 weeks. I've got to play this party for these lawyers, and so around the same time as when I got that. And one last thing about that party is that at the end of it, there was a Tennessee Supreme Court justice named Connie Clark, she's gone on now, but she was so good. I mean, we were so blessed to have her on the Supreme Court. Anyway, she came up to me at the end of the night. I think I had met her once, but didn't really know her. She came up and, you guys sound really good. And she said, but let me ask you something. If you can do this, why are you a lawyer? And she was serious.
Yeah,
And
sure.
boy, that stuck with me.
Wow.
And as the years went on and I was starting to feel like music was for me again, I thought, wow, she was right.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because we had to stop doing music for a while. We had all these family things happen, and I was doing my new gig, which, I'm very good at it, but it's not what I thought I would be doing for the rest of my life. And I was at a big national sales meeting, and one of my colleagues who does what I do, we all had to get up and sing, like it was like a karaoke night. And he came over to me and he's like, I heard you used to be in the music world. Why aren't you still doing that? You live in Nashville. And I'm like, well, because of what we do. He goes, I'm in a band. He lives in California, up in like Tahoe area. And I'm like, you are? And he's married and has kids. And I said to Julie, I'm like,
No excuses.
I'm like, maybe we should get the band back together. But it was that man who said that. And I don't think if he had not said that to me, it was like he gave me permission to do this. Even though I was doing this, I was almost like I thought I could only do this. I couldn't do both these things.
Yes. Yeah, it's funny that we lose perspective. We're in the middle of it. But somebody from the outside of music
Sees it.
Because, why aren't you doing this?
Yeah.
Because they probably see the love we have for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that truly is it. It's
Yes.
a love.
It is a love.
It is a love. And somebody said something to me one about like being a musician. I'm like, well, it's not being, it is just who you are. You know what I mean? It's
True.
And I never realized that until we got back together, the three of us. Like, and it's finally made me
Yeah, the
realize,
joy.
like, the joy and just being able to make music, just to even talk about it with these two special individuals. It really makes being on the planet even more special.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping. I have 3 kids, and I've been shoved instruments in their hands. They're athletes, which is a good thing too. But I just want them to see it and have it, because and like I have to get after them to practice. I'm like, if you just get past this point, it will start being fun. But if we don't get past this point, it'll never be fun. Get in there, practice.
I think sometimes too, we just don't see that we have a certain thing, because we grew up and we're used to having that ability, and we don't see it as anything particularly special when it actually is.
Yeah. Definitely God-given. And for me, growing up super shy, it was the first time when I got on stage, and a lot of people were like, she's going to get on stage, she's so shy. But it's the first time I was able to be in front of people and not feel shy, and to be able to communicate with people in a way that I couldn't necessarily do like this growing up. And it really brought me out of my shyness, was music.
I see it.
You can say that again.
Yeah.
Put her back in the shell.
Let's get to the serious stuff.
Okay.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
What happened?
Well, last year, let's say January 10th, 2024, Saban retired.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
what happened for sure.
Yeah.
You go to a lot of games though. I've seen,
Well,
used to.
my
anyway.
sister and her husband have season tickets, as does my niece. So every year I probably go to a game or two.
That's so nice.
My nephew went there.
Oh, really?
Pre-med. Now he's he's in Memphis at the Tennessee medical school. But yeah, he was pre-med at Alabama. He loved it.
Oh, Alabama was so good. I really enjoyed my time there a lot. I was in like I said earlier, the jazz ensemble, which put me in the music scene, and I learned so much. Oh,
Yes.
can I tell one story?
Yes, please.
Tell
Okay.
2 stories.
Do y'all know who Jaco Pastorius
I do not.
was? Okay. Do you know who Jaco?
Come on, Deb.
You know who Jaco Pastorius?
Hell yes.
Okay. Jaco Pastorius. Well, it might
Hey,
not
I'm
make
from
sense.
Miami anyway. Well, New York. But I
Okay.
lived in Miami, and he lived in Lauderdale. And
Right.
stuff.
This might not make any sense to the listeners, so you might not want to keep it. But
We'll keep
We're
it.
keeping it.
Oh, yeah.
Jaco Pastorius was one of the greatest bass players of all time. And talk about having your own sound.
Yes.
He played fretless, and he played it better than anybody ever had or ever probably will. And he was a young man. When he put out his first record, he was probably 25. I was probably 18 or 19. Yeah,
What kind of
18
music
when he
did he
did
do?
that. So I was and he played with a band called Weather Report.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
yes, I
But-
do know.
I was so into Jaco, especially my first couple of years at Alabama. I used to listen every day. And this is when there were LPs.
Right.
And so in order to learn his parts, I had to put them on 16, some of them.
Yes,
Because
we
he
did
played
the
so
same.
fast. Yeah. So every day I was listening to Jaco. And then when I was 20, a friend and I, so that would have been, a couple of years later, a friend and I went to hear Weather Report in Atlanta, and I had great tickets, and Jaco was there, and he was just killer. So that would have been enough. But then afterwards, my friend Ryle and I went to this club to hear Flora Purim and I Ear Toe. And who should be there but Weather Report? The guys that come over.
Oh, my gosh.
And in the back of the room, there was this guy, tall, lanky guy, with a gray sweatsuit on, gray hoodie, and it was so Jaco.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I was shy.
Who are you?
I was shy, and I wasn't going to go over and say anything, but my friend Ryle said, you have to. So I went back there, hi, I'm Alison, I'm a bass player and big fan. And he was real nice. Later in life, he had some drug issues, but at that age, that time, he was really together. And so we talked, and there was a song of his called Portrait of Tracy
Yep.
about his wife, his harmonics. It's beautiful. One that I definitely had put on 16 to learn.
Yep.
And I said, I got a question. On Portrait of Tracy, how do you get the E flat? And he said, let me see your hands. And so he put his hands up to mine, and his fingers were just
Gigantic.
much longer.
Yeah.
He said, you can't do it the way I do it, but why don't you try this other thing? And he explained in detail.
Wow.
And it was just, And so then the Weather Report tour manager gathered the band because they had to go. It was the end of the night. And he said, I'm sorry, I got to go. He kissed me on my forehead. No joke.
Great
That is an amazing story.
I had been kissed on the forehead by Jaco Pastorius.
You,
That's
Oh, wow.
amazing.
Yeah.
you all need to hear that song. It's a beautiful song. I wore that album out. Donna Lee. Oh,
Yep.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good
All
story.
harmonics, man. It's killer.
That story will always jazz me every time I tell it.
Kissed by Jaco. Amazing,
Kissed by
man.
Jaco.
That you should write a song about that.
I should.
That would be such a cool title.
Why
Kiss
have
by
I
Jaco.
why have I not done that?
I think that's your next
How
single.
cool would that he would show you something in the middle of the club
I
after
know.
you played, and I mean, that's pretty nice.
It is pretty nice. And I have to say, just realistically, probably a 20-year-old young woman coming to ask him something that made sense. It probably did capture his attention for a few minutes.
Yeah.
So I like to think that he went on the tour bus, whatever, afterwards and say, you're not going to believe this, but this chick would
I know.
ask me about
plays
how to-
bass and knows my song.
Well, because probably back in those days, most of the chicks were like, "Can I get on the bus and do ya?" As opposed to-
Deborah.
well, I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
I'm glad,
And,
I'm glad I didn't ask that.
no, but I'm just saying. I'm sure he was like taken aback. Like he's a musician.
It was like,
and
wow.
That's a foul.
Sorry.
And he was probably just 27.
I've been
or
on
so.
some buses. You
Does
know
that
what?
not happen
That
to you?
hasn't happened yet. So.
Oh, dang it.
Well, I did see the Eagles documentary.
Oh, I did too.
I'm just saying. So.
Well, yeah, that's a reality in the rock and roll world,
It
obviously.
can be.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I was just saying it probably stunned him in that, like, it was a female bass musician asking him, not like for an autograph, but like, how can I play that E flat like you did? Like, that's amazing.
But it's good, too, that I was sincere about asking it. It's not something I thought, well, there's Jaco. This will catch him.
yeah.
I really wanted to know what an E flat, how he got it.
That's what I'm sure he loved about it.
Yeah.
I was like,
Hope so.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is so awesome. Well, speaking of E flats, maybe we should hear some music from you.
We would love
Okay.
that. Are we ready?
Yes.
Shazam!
Ladies and gentlemen,
I was the one who said goodbye. Now I guess I'll always wonder why. We had it made, but I was too afraid to try. I don't wanna lose you. I don't wanna lose your love. I don't wanna lose you. Is this too little, too late? What a fool to think you'd wait. If I could only turn back time, I'd give you this whole heart of mine. And I don't wanna lose you. I don't wanna lose your love. I don't wanna lose you. I was the one who said goodbye. Now I guess I'll always wonder why. I don't wanna lose you. I don't wanna lose your love. I don't wanna lose I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose your love. I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose your love.
Shazam! Oh, wow. Thank you so much. That was a beautiful song.
Thank you.
Yes, I enjoyed it too.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing it.
Is that
My
your new
pleasure.
single? You have a new single?
Yes, January 24th. It will be dropped on
love
all
that.
the streaming services.
Yes.
And it's special to me for a big reason is that it's one of those where I started it and then I sent it to people to play on. But I only sent it to Stan Lynch, who was Tom Petty's drummer for all those years. And he played on it and did the coolest percussion thing. By the way, I think the percussion, when you hear not just me doing it, but when you hear the record of it, the percussion that he put on it is the most valuable player of the
Really?
Yeah. And then speaking of most valuable players, Dan Dugmore plays guitar on it. And I would say, I've always told people he is himself the most valuable player in Nashville for the decades that I have lived here.
Oh, my word.
And Scarlett
compliment.
Egan, my friend, is singing background with me. And it's just the four of us.
Wow.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, and it's pretty strong. Mike Poole engineered it, and he's great. So it's a cool little song, I must say.
Now tell us the name again so that people can hear.
It's Lose Your Love, and it will be on all the streaming
I will be
sites.
downloading.
Now, is this part of a record that's already out or a record that's coming?
No, it's just by itself.
By itself?
After Beautiful Man, I didn't really write anything or do anything, and then this one came along, and so it's
Nice.
stands alone.
That's
All right.
fabulous. More to come.
More to come.
More
Yes.
to come. We're excited about that.
Thank you.
Well, this has been amazing having you here and actually getting to meet you. We said earlier when you arrived, like we've known of you for years, heard so much, about you, and then
Heard you play.
heard you play. And when Andy said, I think Allison's going to come on the show, we were blown away and so excited that you could be here. And so we want to toast you.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. It's been a blast from the moment I walked in your door
I'm so glad.
this entire thing. So thank you for having me.
So we're going to yerba mate.
Oh, yeah. Ah. Ooh. Yes.
Cheers.
To new friends.
Cheers.
Andy.
Cheers.
Julie.
There we go.
All right.
All right.
See if you like this.
I'm sure it will.
This is the carbonated version,
Oh, it's good.
which is really good.
Wow, that is really good.
I love the sparkling grapefruit ginger.
Nice. That's what I have.
I do not have an affiliate link for this, by the way, so we just love it.
I can't take my eyes off that blue box.
I
in front
know.
Of you there.
I know, it really is cool. I've never seen it before.
If it's missing off the table, you know who took it.
Yeah, it's a sweet piece of gear, that's for sure.
Love that.
So where are you off to next? Do you have a show? Are you on break a little bit because of the holidays?
Well, I'm playing for church tonight.
Oh.
So I'll be doing that tonight, which is Saturday, and then tomorrow morning. I've got a fun record to play on this coming week, so I'm excited about that. And, there's nothing like sitting around with the guys playing on a record. I just love it, or girls, whoever's there. But very excited.
Well, cool.
Well, on that note, I'm sad to say that's all we have for today. I sure would like to thank Alison for coming in and hanging with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And don't forget to like and subscribe down below. And thank you so much for tuning in.
And if you have any questions for us, or you have some big gear question you want Andy to talk about, comment below.
And until next time,
Don't you worry about it.